Hi, I'm Bridget in Delicato, and welcome to Mindful Gardening. Today I'm going to be showing you tips on how to grow cherry tomatoes. We're in the first week of June here in Innisfil, Zone 5A, and it's prime time to get your seed-grown tomatoes in the ground. Here I have an indigo rose cherry tomato. It's a beautiful new variety I'm growing for me. It's got a very dark skin on it, almost black purple, which is actually really high in antioxidants. So I'm really excited to be growing this variety this year. Originally organic seeds, so I'm going to show you how to organically plant them. One thing I do first of all with my tomato plants, both regular full-size ones and cherry, is you clip the first few leaves off the bottom of the plant. As you can see, I've snipped probably 4 at least. And what's going to happen is I'm going to plant this right underneath that first leaf. And what will happen is roots will grow from the stem. This gives you a sturdier plant than if you were to grow it at the soil level it is in the plant. So you'll see me do that once I dig my hole. Now, I'm going to be amending the soil. I've already done some amendment to the bed here. I've added sea compost, which actually has shrimp shells in it, which is high in calcium, which is a good component for tomatoes. It helps prevent blossom end rot. You may notice sometimes tomatoes will get sort of a rotten bottom on them, and that's a sign of calcium deficiency and also sometimes water deficiency. So I want to make sure I give it a good shot of calcium. And also there's other nutrients in the other components of the sea compost. And I've also applied sheep manure, which also is high in nutrients, including phosphorus, which is needed for vegetables to fruit. And I have some other fun stuff I'll be adding to the hole. So this is comfrey. That's a full comfrey plant. I have it growing in my garden. It's not quite flowering yet. It's got lots of leaves on it, so I could spare some and leave the others to flower. So this is the comfrey leaf. I've shredded it up, just like so. You can just sort of rip it. Now this comfrey is a powerhouse fertilizer. It's high in all three. It's got your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium, and it breaks down really easily in the soil, and it just gives your plants a real kickstart. So I'll be adding that to the hole. I've got blood meal, which also, if you look at its components, it's got 4 nitrogen, 10 phosphorus, and 0 potassium. And it's that middle number that's really important for fruiting vegetables. So I've got a nice high 10 in the bone meal, so I'll be putting some of that in there. And then whenever I've had breakfast, I've saved my eggshells and I've ground them up to a nice fine powder. You can also just crush it, but I liked doing this because it'll be a more concentrated, quick hit of breakdown of calcium in there. So again, more calcium in there to help prevent any of the blossom end rot. So I'm going to get to it and show you how to plant it. So I've selected the spot where I'm going to be digging my hole. I'm going to dig deep enough. I'm also breaking up the soil. You want to give the roots as much room as possible and ease of growing. So if you have rocks or any hard material under that soil, you want to loosen it up. There we go. So I'm first going to add my blood meal. So I'm going to put a couple tablespoons per plant. And it comes in a granulated way. And I'll be adding water to that mixture to help things sort of break down and it's not going in dry. Next, I'm putting my comfrey. Just a nice handful, usually a handful per plant. And then some of my chopped up, ground up eggshells. Again, just a couple of teaspoons. And water. Regardless of how I amend what's going in the hole for any plant, I always add water to the hole, not just on top once it's planted, because again, you're letting those roots really search for the water and get it quickly, as opposed to waiting for it to penetrate the soil. So now, gently, it's been sitting in this pot for a few weeks now, so its roots are in there. Ooh. Now this white stuff is just some paper towel I had put at the bottom of the pot so that my soil wasn't escaping. So now I'm just gonna loosen my roots. It's actually not too root bound. It was in a nice large pot, but I just wanna, again, give the roots the best chance for spreading out. So I'm just gonna give them a little loosening there. And I'm gonna gently sort of hold it from here. Where are my flowers? There they are. I'm just gonna sort of turn the flowers for where the sun will be hitting it. And again, you can see he's right in there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just gonna throw a little soil in there. Yeah, so the soil line will come up just under this leaf. And just a note, I'm planting this early in the morning. This will be in full sun for 6 to 8 hours today. So it'll be getting lots of sunlight. In case you're wondering why it's kind of dark right now. We're in the nice morning shade. There we go. So yeah, we've got that stem down there, at least, I think it was probably 3 or 4 inches. So those, the roots will extend beyond that, and you'll have a nice base of root below there. And you want to kind of pat down. And then what I like to do as well is create sort of a little circle around the base for water to collect, so it's not just running off. And another thing I'll probably do after is add some crunched up leaves, something to mulch it so that the water really doesn't evaporate too quickly, and also keeps the soil cool. Now I'm going to do another watering. And then I will be putting a tomato cage on top of it, because this is an indeterminate variety, which means it will grow and grow. It will need support, and I'll also be pruning it to get the most fruit out of it. So you want to prune any suckers, which typically will grow sort of from, we can kind of call the armpit of the plant. So when you start seeing little leaves come up, they will only be leaves, and what we're looking for is the fruit. So keeping this plant being indeterminate under control through pruning and support, we should have some good tomatoes. Thank you for watching.